It's time once again for another one of our informational roundtable discussions in Addison's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And joining me once again in the studio are Addison's Mayor Rich Veenstra and Deputy Police Chief Joe Maranowicz. So gentlemen, welcome back now. It's been several days since we've had a chance to meet and talk, and probably a good time to bring our viewers and residents up to date on what's been going on here in the community. Mayor, let's start off with you. The shelter-in-place order that was issued by the governor has been extended now officially until April 30th. And of course, with warmer weather, I'm sure people are getting a little antsy thinking about the nice spring weather coming and the fact that the order is still in place. But what are some of the challenges that village government, village operations are dealing with right now with regard to the extension of the shelter-in-place order?
Well, I think the operation of the village continues to go along. We haven't reduced staff. We have all of the necessary agencies working together, and so that's not a problem. Our biggest problem right now is really convincing our residents that we are at a serious crux. We've gone up in the last 5 days up to 26 reported cases in Addison, and those are the confirmed cases. So you know that there's a lot more than that haven't been diagnosed at this point. Mm-hmm. So it's a serious issue that we want to control and minimize the spread. And the social distancing, which we've been certainly encouraging, that's a directive of the governor. We've talked about it, we've encouraged people to do that, but I think one of the things we're running into, especially now that the weather is starting to turn a little bit nicer, there's been a wholesale disregard in many areas. And I think Joe can certainly speak to what the police department is seeing, but children congregating, playing basketball, we've gone as far as seeing actually locks cut on Park District properties so they could get into the park areas. So that's a problem, and that's something that I am really encouraging all of our residents to take responsibility. When you see something, 90% of our residents are abiding by the shelter in place. Sure. That's what they should be doing. Those who aren't, we really need to start becoming very, very aggressive and saying, hey, this is for all of us, and we're not going to let you get away with blatant violation of it.
Just because the weather is turning a little nicer now, spring is starting to settle in, it's April, we understand and can sympathize that people, adults and kids, are getting a little antsy. I think they'd like to be outdoors a little bit more, but there is a more important overriding reason why these rules have been put in place, and that's why things like Park District facilities need to be, and that includes passive parks and playgrounds and so on, why those still need to be secured at this time.
Right. And I've asked our police department to start visiting our local stores, the food stores, as well as any stores that are open, just to reassure the public that we're there and we're concerned about it, but also to gently nudge where necessary that social distancing is required, and we're going to make sure that that happens.
Do you cite them in any cases like that? Joe, do you want to talk about that, writing up a citation?
Right, no, to the mayor's point here, everyone's been very well received. We go in there and it's almost comforting for the customers and the management as well. They like to see us there. And we just want to emphasize that social distancing, maintain your space, and a lot of the grocery stores, you'll see they have their X's and they're promoting that social distancing, and people are falling in line, so that's very good. When the mayor was talking about the parks, you'll see the Park District, they've taken their measures where you might see some basketball rims actually coming down, or backboards, or maybe there'll be tape up around a facility. We're just saying, respect it, no reason to go there, no reason to damage anything at any point, but pretty well received. And from a police department standpoint, citing, our first thing is we're going to say, hey, let's disperse,
just
let's go on home.
Education,
And if we need to get to that level, obviously those measures would be taken if needed.
I'm sure if it's in the case of kids in a playground area, it would help if the parents would back you up on this too.
Discretion is a beautiful thing. We do enforce that, but education with the parents, with the kids, and just letting them know.
Joe, while we're talking with you, let's talk about village operations, specifically Village Hall. The building has been closed now for, I think it's been about 2 weeks.
Just over 2 weeks.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah. But people should not think that that means that village operations are gone. In fact, far from it. employees are still reporting to work.
All employees
and
are
doing their
reporting to
jobs.
work, yes. All employees are coming to work to serve the community. And when you walk up to the village, you'll see two signs. Hey, the actual physical structure of the main entrance of the Village of Addison is closed. But there's also a sign that says, go to the police department. Within the police department lobby, you'll see that the records department's open, but also we have a section of our community development and finance personnel are there to assist. So you need that permit, you need to pay that water bill, you go right ahead. Like we said earlier, we are encouraging people too to use the white drop-off box to pay your water bill if needed, but we are operational. And we've gotten pretty creative too, especially from a community development standpoint. If you need an inspection, because we are doing things in a limited capacity, but if you need that inspection on that project at home, we're adapting and we're getting to FaceTime and say, hey, can you FaceTime with us? And so an inspector can go through and say, hey, maybe bring that camera a little bit higher, or let me see that. So we're adapting with the times, and we've had some pretty good success. Our main point is we want contractors to still do their work if they can do it. If people want to have their projects move forward, we don't want to hinder that.
Okay. Now, because we talked about it being warmer weather, springtime, people like to get out in the yard and start cleaning up the yard, and that involves such things as brush removal, landscape waste, branch pickup, and so on. And this is the time of year when those seasons begin. Will those operations for the landscape waste and the branch pickup continue as scheduled?
Good news to report on that. So that is a yes and a yes. Okay. So as we all know, starting next week here, we're going to have the landscape pickup, right? And that will be with your weekly garbage service.
Starting April 6th?
Starting April 6th, starting that Monday there. And we just ask that you have a container that's marked yard waste, and we have those. You can come to the police department lobby there, and you can pick that up.
The sticker?
Pick up that sticker and put it on there. The branch pickup, that service is still going to be offered, and that's the first Monday of every month. So that will be April 6th for all residents. The one thing that we do want to talk about outside of the landscaping is with the garbage pickup, bulk items. Our bulk items will not be picked up at this point, and that's because sometimes the garbage personnel might have to have two people there, and so they're limiting their social interaction and having people. So bulk items temporarily halted just for now, and we hope to bring that service back pretty soon.
So landscape waste and branch pickup will begin as scheduled starting Monday, April 6th. All of that information as to how you go about getting that ready and prepared is on the Village of Addison website. But as Joe mentioned, for landscape waste, it's on your regular collection day, and for branch pickup, it's the first Monday of the month, which would be April 6th.
That's correct.
Right? Very good. Mayor, let's come back to you to talk about yet another change that's going to be happening, and this one really is quite important, and we'll cover it here. We'll also mention it on your April 6th Ask Mayor Veenstra program. Because it's time for the village board to have a meeting. And this will be the first meeting now in about 2 or 3 weeks' time since this has taken effect. So there's been a couple of changes, I think, that you've put into place as far as the village board meeting goes, not only in the physical characteristics of the room, but how residents can participate. And I know you've been around as long as I have here. This is probably the first time we've ever had to go to this type of approach for conducting a regular set of village meetings. Can you talk a little bit about what's going to be going on that night?
Yeah, actually, in deference to the gathering recommendations, maximum of 10 people together, we will have a live board meeting. The elected officials will be in the boardroom. We will limit the number of people in the room to 10. As usual, when an item comes up that has to be discussed with a department head, we will invite the department head into the building, into the room. So we will maintain the numbers and stay within the guidelines. Public comment and input is always important, and we will have a phone line available for call-ins to ask questions either about topics that will be on the agenda, as always, or at the end of the meeting to just call in with questions or concerns. Okay. So we will maintain the public input. We will maintain the social distancing and be live on TV.
Right. So that would be for the Monday, August 6th village board meetings.
April.
And
Or excuse me, April 6th. Thank you. Yes. Why am I in August already? That's not a good sign.
You're looking ahead.
Right. April
And
6th.
we'll also be doing the finance committee meeting the same way.
Very good. So if a person does have a question or some sort of audience input, they'd be able to do that by either phoning in the question. They can actually do that during the course of the meeting.
Correct.
Also,
Yeah.
during those designated times of the meeting where you have audience input, audience participation.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else that we need to cover at this point, gentlemen? Have we hit on all the high points?
I think only to encourage the public to really take this seriously. We're weeks away from hitting the peak in terms of identifying additional cases. So our numbers are going to continue to get worse. And that's something that we need to be serious about. And enforcing the restrictions and the guidelines and the gathering issues that is critical. So I'm really asking all of our residents to adhere to it. And if you see something that shouldn't be happening, call the police department and we will intervene at that point.
Very good. Mayor Veenstra and Deputy Chief Maranowicz, thank you very much once again. We'll continue to keep our viewers and residents informed on Addison's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. But for now, thank you very much for being on our program. A couple of reminders before we close. You may recall that when Karen Aiella from the DuPage County Health Department was here, we looked at that very interesting interactive dashboard with the map of DuPage County so you could track the COVID-19 cases. Remember, that website is dupagehealth.org. All you have to do is log on to that website and you can have access to that interactive map, which is updated daily. Make sure that you stay informed by using the Village of Addison's official forms of communication, and that includes the village website, which is addisonadvantage.org. That is where you will find the official news and information from the Village of Addison, along with our Facebook page. There are many Facebook pages out there, but the one that's official from the Village of Addison is Village of Addison, appropriately enough. So make sure you check out that Facebook page, and our Twitter feed is @AddisonVillage. Don't forget to sign up for the Code Red notification system, and of course download the new Addison Connected mobile app. It's free from your app store, and you can track all this information that we've talked about here through all these various communication channels. We'll be back with you next time. We'll have representatives from our school system, and then at a later interview program, representatives from public safety here in Addison. Thanks to our guests, and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Weiss. Thank you for being with us.